Apple acts like it cares about privacy, which maybe it doesn't turn certain over things to the FBI. I don't know exactly but we don't know what the Apple phones are doing.
Right.
Apple is all locked down, closed source.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally, there was a creepy speech that Tim Cook just gave.
Creepy?
Did you see it?
No. Let's listen to it.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
Should we play spooky music in the background?
Do the ADL speech.
Do you have any spooky music you could play in the background while he's doing the speech? One thing at a time. We might get in trouble for that.
So, again, it's good intentions. Like, people who want less hate speech, we all want less hate speech, realistically.
Of course. We want people to get along better.
Yeah.
Right.
But this idea that, I don't want to give too much away, but he's acting as if they are going to be the moral authority about the types of content that can exist on the App Store.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how that's scalable.
Yeah, what does that mean? Like, let's hear what he says.
I was just hoping this is the right one. Is this it?
It says, CEO Tim Cook, banning hate division is the right thing to do, 12/3/2018. Is that it? December?
That's it.
Okay, let's hear it. Hello, Tim. Volume, please.
Our devices connected to the humanity that makes us, us. We do that in many ways. One of the most important is how we honor a teaching that can be found in Judaism, but is shared across all faiths and traditions. It's a lesson that was carried forward by the late Eli Wiesel. May his memory be a blessing. It's a lesson put into practice by America's Muslim community, who raised thousands for the victims of the Tree of Life killings. Lo ta'amod al-dam re'eka. Do not be indifferent to the bloodshed of your fellow man. Do not be indifferent. This mandate moves us to speak up for immigrants and for those who seek opportunity in the United States. We do it not only because their individual dignity, creativity, and ingenuity have the power to make this country an even better place, but because our own humanity commands us to welcome those who need welcome. It moves us to speak up for the LGBTQ community, for those whose differences can make them a target for violence and scorn. We do so not only because these unique and uncommon perspectives can open our eyes to new ways of thinking, but because our own dignity moves us to see the dignity in others. Perhaps most importantly, it drives us not to be bystanders as hate tries to make its headquarters in the digital world. At Apple, we believe that technology needs to have a clear point of view on this challenge. There is no time to get tied up in knots. That's why we only have one message for those who seek to push hate, division, and violence. You have no place on our platforms. You have no home here. From the earliest days of iTunes to Apple Music today, we have always prohibited music with a message of white supremacy.
Hold on a second. What do you think they're signaling here? Like, are they signaling that they're about to start censoring things? Like, what are they
already
saying?
are.
They already are. Okay. I agree that you probably shouldn't put white supremacy music on, but there's a lot of like really violent stuff that you can get on iTunes, right? I mean, if you go back to the old NWA albums, that's available, right?
Sure. I'm assuming, yeah. I don't know that it is for sure, but yeah.
Like Straight Outta Compton, that is some violent shit. And then how about the films that they have? How about the films that you can get on the iTunes store? There's a lot of very, very, very violent films, like extremely violent. There's a lot of films that, like, is it that they're making the distinction between something that's fiction, that although it may be disturbing, you understand that this is a movie and this is something someone wrote, versus someone
art versus
versus someone with commentary, their commentaries. And then here's the other thing. Well, he was saying hate and division. They won't promote division, but that's a weird one.
Yeah, that means
like, what does that mean?
People who disagree with you.
Yeah, what is division?
He has good intentions. You can sort of feel it. That's the problem with this.
Right.
That he's not allowing the conversation to take place. So this is in direct conflict with the Daryl Davises, with confronting these issues.
Right.
So,
but we can kill it. Yeah. But I think when he's saying you have no place on our platform, they probably feel like you can go somewhere else.
He's building a wall.
Yeah. I mean, but this is what I'm saying. Like, everybody kind of feels like you can go somewhere else.
That's what happens, though, and that's how things get more radicalized.
And everybody goes to Gab.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, the conversation needs to take place. People on the left, he's acting like he's speaking for all LGBTQ people.
Yeah.
He's not. There's lots of people on the left, and LGBTQ people aren't always on the left. And not all of them want that.
Well, not only that, there's division in LBGT and Q. Like, there's a big issue right now with Martina Navratilova that was going on about her discussing the reality of trans women competing against biological women, and that she opposes it, and she thinks there's some fundamental advantages, which is leading to a lot of weightlifting world records being broken by trans women. And she's like, this is fucking preposterous, including trans women with penises. Now they're attacking her for being transphobic. So there's not even a united opinion in the LBGTQ community.
For sure, and that's why that Megan Murphy, I think. I go to this restaurant in Bridgeport, Connecticut called Bloodroot, which is like sort of an old school feminist, like vegetarian, vegan spot.
In Bridgeport?
In Bridgeport.
Really?
Yeah.
Bridgeport's kind of, no offense.
I know.
It's kind of a dump.
Wild place, yeah. We would have Gathering in the Vibes Music Festival is cool. I helped organize that.
I used to do stand-up in Bridgeport. Nice. There's a place called the Joker's Wild. It was a comedy club.
So
I saw the owner beat a guy with his shoe there. Yeah, beat a guy in the face with his shoe, pulled his shoe off and smacked the guy in the face. I was 24. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
So anyway, that restaurant, they get called, what is it, TERF? TERFs, yeah. Trans exclusionary radical feminists.
Yeah.
And so again, they're the old school ones, and they're saying, look, we're not against your battle.
Right.
We're not against trans rights. Who would be against trans?
Against that?
Yeah. But they're just saying that's not our thing. So again, there's diversity, and they're trying to clump everyone together in the whole intersectional world. And I look, people want to band together. The oppressed groups want to band together. They should.
Yes.
But it's not that simple.
Well, there's always going to be differing opinions, and especially when you have something like, trans women competing against biological women, and you have someone like Martina Navratilova that made her life's work and her career competing as a biological woman. She's going to have some opposition to that. And then the idea that everyone's supposed to be lumped in together with some mandate that no one has really openly discussed, and you're supposed to agree, and it fluctuates and moves like the tide. Like what is and isn't moves like the tide. It changes. It's like this court of public opinion. It's constantly rendering new verdicts, and you have to keep up and catch up. Things that were acceptable just a few years ago are totally unacceptable. I mean,
comedy is the key area too.
Yeah,
that is not what's happening on social media now. Not sustainable for comedy because
it's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. It is.
How?
Because it creates outrage, and then comedy, it relieves that pressure. Like, believe me, there's a lot of blowback, and believe me, there's a lot of debate and discussion, but also believe me, when someone does do some politically incorrect, really good stand-up, people go fucking bonkers. They love it. It's like one of the best times ever right now to do stand-up. People go fucking apeshit.
Oh, yeah, no, it's incredible material, but I'm just saying for, comics that are running into issues with getting banned or whatnot. I mean,
Well, who's running into issues with getting banned?
I think one.
Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Owens has some issues. Yeah. And, you can make some arguments that Owen's not doing so well right now. But he's also developing his following because of the fact there's people that don't agree with him being banned. He's a very specific example. Other people that are being banned, do you know of what other stand-up comedians?
You've had
do
a
you
bunch
think
of comics on. Maybe they haven't been fully banned from social media, but they've had their performances shut down. Who's that one guy? Who's that?
Nimesh Patel.
Yeah.
But that was at a college. See,
but it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yes, but universities have been bad for that for a long time. They're the most sensitive of all audiences, and they're the ones who are the most. They believe the most that they're going to change the world, and that their ideals are rock solid, and they have to push back against anything that opposes them.
Ari was temporarily banned for.
That was an accident. Yeah. The Ari thing was he was joking around, and they thought he was making a legitimate death threat.
That could happen.
He was joking around with a good friend of ours.
The algorithms are and the moderators are just not
right.
We can't just be having this happen all the time, and then they just keep saying, "Oh, sorry, sorry." There has to be a new approach completely. It can't just be, "Oh, let them back on," and just keep doing what they're doing. Like, we need to completely reapproach how moderation is happening, the whole policy situation, the transparency situation. It's not just a matter of going to the overlords and saying, "Can I please come back?"
Right.
That's not suitable for the communication structure of the planet Earth.
Well, I think what's not suitable is that commerce should not dictate how human beings are allowed to openly communicate with each other. And one of the things that Jack said that's kind of contrary to his company's actions was that he believes that the ability to communicate is a fundamental right, like the ability to get electricity. Like, if you're in the KKK, you could still order electricity. So should you be able to just distribute information? If people say no, then you have to say, okay, well, who's to decide what can and cannot be distributed? And then who's to decide if they can go somewhere else? And then what happens if you tell a person they can't go anywhere? Then things get really weird.